Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of Pinfalls. Tonight, we're recording for WrestleMania 40. Give it to me, Tommy.
Well, John, it's the greatest spectacle in sports entertainment. It's where legends are born and icons are made, where careers are started and others ended in an instant. It's the showcase of the immortals. It's the biggest WrestleMania of all time. WrestleMania XL.
Very nicely done. Yeah, that's why I had you do it. You ready to jump right in, sir? Because we got a lot of matches, two nights
It
of
would,
matches.
yeah, well, I mean, this is, of course, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, as it is every year.
I'll say until
Um,
next year.
so yeah, we got a lot to get through. So let's do this. WrestleMania. Here we go.
Diving in, first night, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. I wonder if Dom and Tom are going to wrestle too.
Dom and Tom. I love that. I love that. I haven't bought a WWE shirt in a long time, but there's the one with R-Truth and Dom and Tom Mysterio. Or it's Dom and Nick. I'm sorry. It's
Dominic,
Dom.
right? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Dominic. Yeah, no, you threw me off. No, but yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm giving this one to Mysterio and Dragon Lee. I think that they're due for a win, and I think that the Judgment Day in general are going to have a rough time at WrestleMania. So I'm going with that. Some of these
Oh,
matches we're going to keep our answers a little short just because we've got so many of them, but there's not much more to get into on my end on that one there. What do you think?
there's not much more to get into either. I'm saying Ray and Dragon Lee, they need the win. This could lead to, I don't think it's going to lead to a face turn by Dominic, but I think it could lead to some, perhaps a turn by Carlito. But I think it could cause some damage in Judgment Day.
Well, I think that they're kind of like hinting at Mysterio Dominic kind of teaming up with his partner and his faction in this at some point, or he's been talking to a lot of people outside the Judgment Day lately, so this could lead to him forming a new alliance with somebody else. But
I'm all for that.
so,
All right,
all right,
next we have Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill versus Damage Control.
I'm going with Naomi, Cargill, and Belair. This is Cargill's debut match, and I think this one will go to the good guys. I
I
just
have
don't
to.
I don't see if there's no titles on the line, and this whole match is basically to put Cargill over. She's not going to, after all this hype, come out and then lose the match unless there's some sort of like turn on her part or something like that, and she decides to start off as a heel. Barring that, my official answer is with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I thought of that. I thought maybe she turns heel, but this isn't the match for her to turn heel. She's not going to line with Damage Control unless she takes it over. There's no reason to bring her in and have her lose the match. I don't even know why they put her in a three-way to start, but yeah, I'm going with her and Bianca and Naomi.
I think they want to get her involved in WrestleMania, but they're not going to give her a one-on-one match with anybody just yet, considering she hasn't had her first official match, really. So,
Good point. All right,
all
next
right.
up, for the interest of brevity, I'm not going to name them all, but we got a six-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship.
Um, this is I this match is probably one of the least interesting to me in this
Bathroom
whole
break.
thing here. Looking at the names on the list, I first of all, Judgment Day's dropping the titles. They're losing.
Yes.
It's just a question of who's going to win. I don't like matches with this many people in it. Not tag matches. I mean, this has always been kind of a pet peeve of mine here. I would say I narrow it down to DIY and Miz and R-Truth. And I think for the sake of entertainment and even a little bit of payback, I think the Miz and R-Truth I think they're going to win. I'm going with them.
This is too funny. As we said, every show, we don't discuss this stuff ahead of time. We really don't even
No,
discuss
I have no idea
WWE.
what your answers are. Yeah.
But my thought process on this match was exactly what you said. I think it's going to come down to our truth, to Miz and Truth versus DIY. And I think for the entertainment value, I think the Miz Truth is going to take the titles.
Yeah.
Just weird though. We're 3 for 3.
They're called the Awesome Truth. The
The
Awesome
awesome
Truth.
truth. That's it. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now we have
So
now we have a brother versus brother match. I heard an interesting stat this morning. Every 15 years, there's a brother versus brother match. 15 years ago, there was Kane versus Undertaker. 15 years before that, there was Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. So just throwing that out there. So anyway, Jimmy versus Jey Uso.
very tough to call. One of the more exciting matches for me. I'm really looking forward to. I think this will be a great match. I think it's had a good build up. This is a WrestleMania level match, and it's got to be super cool for the two of them to have grown up in this business, and how many times did they play in the living room wrestling each other, and now they're going to get to go out on WrestleMania and do the real thing. So I think this is tough. I'm thinking that they're going to go with Jimmy for the win, and I think that's to help perpetuate the rivalry between the two of them going forward. So without giving away some of my answers on some of the future matches coming up here, I think that I'm gonna go with Jimmy.
I gotta agree with you too, and probably for the same reason going forward. I think it continues. I think it helps Jimmy more than Jay, and I think it
If it
builds their
was a
future.
Yeah, if it was a one and done, then yeah, then I'd say, it'll be a big night for the good guys and Jay wins it and everything. But no, I think Jimmy walks out with the win on this one. But we're gonna see this probably go through like to SummerSlam or something with these two, which it
I
should.
I do like
This
this though. I mean,
it's a great rivalry and story to follow. So, they should definitely this is definitely the kicking off
and
moment for them.
I think it's great. Like they've brought their level up from they're coming in as a tag team, they're coming in as the brothers, and you really didn't expect, or I didn't expect this type of growth from them. And now it's one of the big matches at WrestleMania, brother versus brother. I think it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's
And
like I
they're
said, this is one of the ones I'm looking forward to the
yeah,
most. And there was a time when they came out in their face paint and they did the thigh slapping and all that stuff, and everybody was like,
yeah,
whatever. You never would have thought those two versus each other would be a big main event at WrestleMania, but here we are, and good for them. I'm
yeah.
excited. I'm excited about the match, and I'm excited for them. So
They've earned it. Well, so far we're four for four in agreement. I think we're probably going to agree on this next one too. We got the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther defends versus Sami Zayn.
I think this one is going for the good guys again. I think Sami Zayn is gonna get this one.
Oh, oh, oh. Well,
Oh, we got a disagreement here.
we
I I think he's earned it, and Gunther's had the title for a year, and we can't keep. I mean, he's had the title for a year. Ripley's had the title for a year. Roman's going on. He's had 3 years. These long title reigns. It's fine for like if you have like one person in the company who's like running with a year-long title reign. But even after about a year or so, that person should have to give it up. Maybe a year and a half or something like that. I don't like back in the day when like someone wins the title Sunday night and then loses it on the next night on
right,
Raw, and
right.
then like 2 weeks later someone else gets it. I mean, like that's ridiculous too. But now we've gone to like too far in the other direction and everything. And Gunther has been an absolute superb Intercontinental Champion, and he really truly has, as much as its storyline, its reality too, that he has brought prestige to that title. He's great. He's awesome to watch in the ring. I think he's got a great future on his hands. He's already accomplished a lot. I think Imperium's a great faction. They're not obnoxious or overbearing, but they're imposing. But Sammy has been, through the ringer this last year, man. I mean, he hasn't got, I mean, he's just had a suck year when it comes to wins, and he's due up. And yeah, I think he deserves to get the Intercontinental Championship. So I'm gonna tip my hat to Sammy on this.
Well, I can't disagree with anything you're saying, but my picks later on will also contradict or make sense of why I think Gunther's going to win. I do think all the belts won't change hands. I don't think so. I think Gunther's is one that won't change hands. I do think it's going to change soon, based on everything you said. I think Sammy, it's time, but Sammy doesn't do it for me. I don't know. And
Well,
Gunther's name is still stupid.
no, well, first of all, I think he's just fine with his name.
No.
Sammy's not the most exciting person. I mean, like he has his moments. He can be a good comedic wrestler when he wants to be. When he tries to act tough, I have a hard time buying it. So, uh, but
Eric Shameful, I would kill him.
well, there's no question. But there's still a huge fan support behind him. And while everybody I do believe respects Gunther, I think this is going to be a good feel good moment for Sammy, and he'll get his flowers at this one. So,
Well, we finally have one different.
all
All right.
right, good. Well, we need to have something here.
Yeah. Well, this is another match I'm really looking forward to. The Women's
Oh
World
boy, I
Championship.
know, I
Rhea
know.
Ripley champ versus my
Hmm.
gal, Becky Two Belts.
Yeah.
Well, come on.
So we've been talking about this since the Rumble, Mommy versus the Man. Here we go.
You called it.
And I'll tell you, one of my favorite lines Ripley pulled out was she said that the Monday after WrestleMania, Becky Lynch and her daughter will be watching Monday Night Raw, and her daughter will be referring to Ripley as Mommy. I thought that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. Um, Honestly, this is tough. But I think that, like you said, I don't think all the belts are going to change hands, and I think Ripley's going to retain this one. I think she's going to hang on to that belt. I think Becky's had a whole lot of push going into this, but like Ripley said, she's been wrestling a lot of the weeks leading up to this. Now Becky's got a book out. I get that. There's a chance they might want to push her with that a little bit, but I just don't see. I'll be honest. I just think Ripley's a more entertaining uh, champion, as you know. So it's tough. This is a real close one. It's a real close one, and I'm leaving. I know that are a big Becky Lynch fan,
I like
but
them both, really.
I really love Rhea Ripley. I'm really pulling for her, and so I'm going to go with Ripley on this.
Well, this one, boy, this one was so tough for me. I went back and forth. This is probably the one I went back and forth the most. Um, yeah, I heard that Becky might be taking time off. She does have the book out, so there's all these factors. I kept going, well, that'll be. So I decided on Becky. I don't think it's going to be a long run though. I think she might be more of a transitional champ, and it might go right back to Rhea. Maybe at the next
Yeah, if
pay-per-view.
I mean, like, I would be more certain of it if Becky didn't have her book out now,
Yeah.
But she's going to be touring around with the book, having the belt with her would help and stuff. So there's a lot of reasons to lean with Becky, but I'm gonna stick with my girl, Rhea Ripley.
Well, I like to lean with Becky.
Yeah, I know you.
And now the one that everyone's waiting for, the one that we've talked about for years, maybe. We have the Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins.
Well, I think it seems pretty obvious to most people which way this is going to go.
Enlighten
Now,
us.
I I see The Rock and Roman winning the match. I mean, unless they have some real big swerve in their pocket, because maybe it's too obvious. But the stipulation is that if The Rock and Roman Reigns win the match, then the main event the following night between Reigns and Rhodes is going to be under bloodline rules, which means that the bloodline can be involved with no disqualifications. And, you know, it'll be just a complete, mayhem out there. While I think personally it would be better for Cody to, if he is to win the title, and if Roman's to lose the title, even, I think it would be better if it was in a one-on-one, legit scenario. But that's me maybe being a little more of a purist, where I think the masses want to just see complete chaos out there. So to get to the chaos Sunday night, Roman and Rock will have to win the first night. So I'm going with them.
I am going as well. I don't think they'd go through this whole thing of having bloodline rules and all that stuff, and then, well, Cody and Seth win, and there's no bloodline rules, and now we just have, it doesn't make any sense. For the last night of WrestleMania, I think there needs to be it's going to be just a cluster. I mean, hopefully a good cluster, but there's just going to be everything involved, and it's going to, it'll end up with Cody. Well, I don't want to give it away. It'll end
Right,
up,
but well, the whole thing is going to they're going to want to go out big. However, that ends up, being, but and to me, it sounds like it's going to be the bloodline rules. So
yeah, which leads to that's the only way that leads to something really chaotic and fun and big. All right, night two, we got Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament.
Yeah, this is another one I could care less about.
Same.
I don't know why they're putting.
I tried to make it sound big.
I don't know why this is on the card for WrestleMania. This is maybe just a pay-per-view match, but it's not a WrestleMania match. I'm actually going to go with the Final Testament on this. I think that while the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley seemed like a good idea on paper, I just don't think it's been panning out for them real well. I don't think the crowd's into it that much. Not that I think that the Final Testament is a big deal. Paul Ellering is really the best part of the Final Testament.
Yes.
Paul Ellering is just fantastic. And the problem is they're not using him. All he's done is stand out there. But you put that guy on why isn't he on the microphone? That guy on the microphone.
That's a waste.
He's magic on the microphone. That's his whole job. Standing there, with his arms crossed, is great. But and I'll tell you, Akam and Razar are a pretty good tag team too. I liked them when they were the authors of Pain with Paul Ellering on NXT. Big fan of theirs, and was wondering where they had been, and was glad they came back. I don't like them all teaming up with Karrion Kross. I don't get it. They don't need them. I think Karrion Kross is really just floundering out there, and I think he should just go to NXT or something like that. But even with all of that said, I think that what they're going to do is use this as a vehicle to try to split up the Street Profits from Bobby Lashley, because the Street Profits were doing way better on their own than since they've gotten with Bobby. It's like, so based on that, I'm going with the Final Testament.
I am going with the Final Testament too. I'm not going to talk much about the match because you laid it all out pretty well, but I am going to bring up 3 points. One, I think Bobby Lashley turns heel and starts to, hopefully regain some momentum, because the guy is huge. I don't know. He's like, he's being a clown, not a clown in that sense, but like he's kind of just being a body there, and he should be tearing people up. Number two, why don't they bring in Rachel Ellering? I would love to see Rachel Ellering in NXT. Yeah. And the third point is, have you ever heard Karrion Kross do his Jesse Body Ventura impression? It's dead on.
No, I maybe I saw a clip of it once or something because it sounds familiar. But
look for it; it's really good. All right, so we agree on that. Move on. We got LA Knight versus AJ Styles.
This is a little tougher to call than I would have thought. AJ is due for a win. LA Knight has been on a tear all year long. I know the crowd wants to see LA Knight win. Styles is, I mean, the biggest, like, physically I've ever seen him. I
Oh,
mean, like,
huge.
he looks like, yeah, he's never looked as good as he does right now. I mean, he is ripped. Um, the storyline has been kind of wishy-washy getting to this point. They had LA Knight, like, go to Styles' house out on the front lawn, and then they get in a fight, and LA Knight gets arrested and everything. And it was just, I didn't think it made sense for the LA Knight character. It was like, that's it. I know they're trying to be like real attitude era with him and stuff and give him a little Stone Cold in there and everything, but I still didn't think it made, I don't know.
I thought it was really cheesy.
I feel like they're screwing up now. It's like they had him going just fine, and now they're messing it up.
Yeah.
Um, it's this is tough. I'm gonna go with AJ Styles because I just feel like LA Knight is going in with almost too much confidence in this. And meanwhile, AJ Styles is focused and vengeful. And the back and forth between them, I don't feel like LA Knight has any kind of momentum in this. So as much as I'm more of an LA Knight fan, I'm gonna go with AJ Styles.
You're more of an LA Knight fan than AJ Styles? I'm surprised.
I am, yeah, for sure.
See,
I
I
like
like
LA
AJ.
Knight.
I've always liked AJ. I thought he never got the due that he.
He's just they're not consistent enough with him. He's a heel, he's a face, he's a heel, he's a face. He's got his buddies, then he's not, then he's all over the place. And I don't blame him. I mean, it's it's creative
Yeah.
that's doing it. But I mean, like, they got it. When they have let him just run with one, be a face. Here's the title. AJ Styles. SmackDown was the house that AJ Styles built. Like, that was a good era for him, and he was good, and he did a great job. Now just let him do that. But then they gotta, like, they keep tossing him around and putting him in weird scenarios and changing his opinion on he's a good guy, he's a bad guy, he loves the crowd, he hates the crowd. It's just like, at a certain point, it's like, at least I'm fine with people having heel and face turns. That's part of wrestling. But, when you can't go week to week without knowing, like, where he
Well,
stands,
yeah.
it's hard
Then he
to
becomes
invest.
the Giant. Then he becomes the Big Show. Then he becomes Sheamus. All these guys
Right.
flip back and forth forever. But
LA
exactly what
Knight's,
you're saying is why
yeah.
I'm picking AJ. This is going to be the start of AJ's redemption.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, I hope so. I hope so. It's not the reason I'm picking him, but I mean, if something good can come of it, it would be great. I think they're gonna, hold off on LA Knight getting that kind of a win a little bit longer.
All
So
right. So we agree on AJ, but for different reasons.
yeah.
That's interesting. All right. Now we have the United States Championship triple threat match. Your guy, Logan Paul,
Hey,
versus Randy Orton
my
versus
guy.
Kevin Owens. Your former Resistance Pro mate, Kevin Owens.
Okay, the guy was at like 3 shows. All
Were you
right.
not on the same card with Kevin Owens?
Yes, I
That,
was,
if
and so were a bunch
I
of other
rest my
people.
case.
All right.
Not many other people who are watching this can say that.
No, that's true. That's true. Um, I see Logan Paul walking out with this one. I think he's going to retain the title. I don't think that either Randy Orton or Kevin Owens needs it. I think that Logan Paul currently is invested both personally and certainly financially at this point now in the WWE. So he's not like a celebrity who's going to, like, take off after this. I think we'll see him as much as we see him now, but I think he'll be around enough to be able to carry the title, maybe through SummerSlam or something like that. So, they just, his product, his drink, whatever the hell, Prime, is going to be in the middle of the mat at WrestleMania, which don't even get me started on that. I just don't like it's nothing against the product. I just don't want to see anything in the middle of the ring. I don't want to see any
Oh, I
product
agree.
placement
Yeah.
in the middle of the ring. It's just that's sacred space as far as I'm concerned. The only thing you should be paying attention to in that ring are the people in there trying to entertain. But anyway, all that said, I think Logan Paul is going to retain the title, which is just going to give him more to talk about, blow up his ego even more. It's just going to, I think there's way more to be gained by him keeping it than giving it to one of the other guys.
If this was any other pay-per-view, or what do they call it, premium live events,
Yes,
I probably would go with Kevin Owens. To give him the boost, although he doesn't really need it. He's kind of floundering up and down too. But for all the reasons you said, it's the biggest show of the year. Logan Paul's the big star. He's going to have his drink logo in the center of the ring. I don't think you could lose after that. I think the publicity they'll gain from as he's winning is going to be much more than if he loses.
right, exactly.
All right, so now once again we agree. This is scary as always. Now we have the WWE. It's either we have the same mind or the WWE is predictable. WWE Women's
I'm
Champion.
going to say that the WWE is predictable because I will not at all even entertain the notion that you and I have the same mind.
That
Please.
hurts.
Don't
It really hurts.
Don't put me in that category.
Nobody puts else in a corner. WWE Women's Championship, Io Sky versus champ defending versus Bayley.
They got to go with Bayley on this one. She's just it's not just from storylines. It's Io is just like she's not entertaining. Like you wouldn't even know she was the champ. I mean, seriously. And then when she has her matches and stuff, I don't care. I'm not like blown away. I mean, I don't think Bayley's at least got more personality. I don't think she's the greatest wrestler in the world, but I mean, like, I'll say she's come a long way in her character and on her microphone skills and stuff like that. I think she's actually, it took me a while, but I think maybe it took her a while, but she's gotten to be a good heel. And now this kind of, she's being put more into the face situation here. But regardless, I think that people want to see her win the title, and I think she'll just generally be a better champion than Io Sky is. So I'm going with Bayley.
Bayley might be, at least on this card, she might be the wrestler that, well, maybe Dominic Mysterio. Bayley might be the wrestler that has grown on me the most since she started. And I wasn't a big fan of hers before. I think, as you said, her in-ring, her mic skills, everything's improved. Aside from the fact that she's a San Francisco 49ers fan, I've really become a big supporter of hers. The breakaway from the division she was in to now to being on her own, I think it's great for her. It is, and as you said, Sky is not exactly a charismatic champion. I think you give it to Bayley, give her a short run with the title, and see how she does. If it kind of flounders, then maybe a couple pay-per-views or live premium events, you give it to somebody else. But for right now, Bayley wins it and becomes the champ.
Nobody's going to be excited if Io Sky wins. So
correct. And maybe Bayley will pass out hugs to everybody. All right, now we have the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Seth Rollins, champion, defending against Drew McIntyre.
So I am going with Drew McIntyre on this. I believe McIntyre will. I think he will win the title. Now, how he goes about doing that, who knows? There could be some interference or some nefarious scenario, but I think that at the end of the night, what we're looking at though is Seth loses the title, Drew gets it, and then here comes Damian Priest, Money in the Bank, cashes in, he takes the title.
Wow, that's a big prediction.
That's how it's going down. He still has that Money in the Bank. He hasn't said a word about it in months, and here we are at WrestleMania. It's a good transition to get the title off of Seth to put it on Priest. Priest wouldn't beat Seth for the title, and he wouldn't necessarily beat Drew for the title, but at a WrestleMania, and they've just fought it out, come out, and then take it off of him. Now, Drew still doesn't get. He gets to say that he got the title at WrestleMania, which he already has. His big complaint was that he did it during the pandemic and nobody was there to see it. So now he gets it, but now he's been robbed of it again, you know. So that gives him something to complain about for the next, 6 months. And now Damian Priest becomes the champion. And now we have a
Well,
heel champion now. So
so if as long as he wins, regardless of Priest, you are correct on that, though, right? And even if Priest doesn't show up, that doesn't affect your scoring. I don't think it could affect your scoring.
no, the answer, the final answer is that it's Drew McIntyre. No, I
Right.
mean what my follow up to it is just a note, but I think that's why he's going to win the title.
I
That's
think you'll get a bonus point, but not in the actual standings, which we'll get to later.
no. I expect nothing extra for it. Black and white answer is Drew McIntyre wins the title, but it's then he's going to lose it about 2 minutes later. So
I like that. I didn't think of that. I wish I did think of that though, but I won't steal your idea. I'm just still going with, I think Drew McIntyre wins. I think that starts a Seth heel turn. He spent way too much time worrying about Cody. He didn't spend time on himself. I know Seth is super over now, and I love the character. And I don't know how to work as a heel, but he's always managed to tweak his character enough on either side. So I
I
think
will
it'll
say,
work.
I agree with that in the sense that, yeah, he's if anyone could make it work, it would be him. Yes. I don't think he necessarily needs to turn heel. And I think that he has said that he knows getting involved in this bloodline situation could mean potential sacrifice of losing that title, of his title at WrestleMania. So he's been, openly aware of it. So, um,
That could be
you
a
know,
red herring, throwing it out there,
it could be, it
or
could
it could be
be.
an omen.
And again, I don't think that McIntyre is going over clean necessarily, but I mean, if Priest were somehow maybe he's the interference or something like that,
Yeah, I really like. He's the interference that he cashes in.
right? They've talked with McIntyre in the past, and they've worked with McIntyre a little bit, and Seth has brought up many times that he thinks that McIntyre has been in cahoots with the Judgment Day, which I don't think he has, but there's a lot of things that from the past that glue together with this whole thing. But I think this is how I think that we're looking at Damian Priest actually at the end of the night there walking out with the Raw WWE Championship.
Well, we got one more match to see if we have any differences on the second night of WrestleMania. We got the one that we all want to know about, the Undisputed Universal Championship, Roman Reigns, and will Cody Rhodes finish his story?
Well, for the sake of never having to hear that phrase ever again, hopefully, maybe, I would hope that Cody Rhodes wins. However, I don't necessarily think that that is a guarantee. Um, I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes. I'm going to say yes. Cody will rise above all of this. Uh, I just don't trust the WWE enough to say that he'll definitely get it. But if I'm given a hard answer, it's going to be Cody Rhodes.
I agree it's going to be Cody Rhodes, but let's hear like what's your take on it? Is The Rock going to turn on Roman?
I
Is
think
Dustin
here,
Runnels going to
so
come in?
okay, so here we go. Bloodline rules, right? So we've got Solo, Jimmy, uh, Roman, Rock,
Possibly
Heyman.
Jacob,
Heyman is out there. Yeah, and you
maybe
never know if
Rikishi.
maybe they pull out. Yeah, they could very well pull out like extra people or whatever. Now, if Cody knows he's going into a Bloodline Rules match, uh, he's got to have other people in the back lining up. So you could figure Jey Uso, assuming Seth is still okay and can go, you got Seth Rollins with him too. But who else can he rack up? Now, as far as just other wrestlers, I mean, because here's the thing. You basically get all the guys, in my estimation, you try to find all the guys who feel like they got screwed by the bloodline, and those become your allies. And then this is going to just basically turn into a war in the main event between these two sides. Eventually, it'll have to thin out so that it can just be Roman and Cody to finish the match out and everything like that. But along the way, this thing's going to blow up. Here's the thing. They need a counter to The Rock, and someone who has laid low, who has not said anything, and the last interaction they had with The Rock was being threatened by The Rock, is none other than the Game, Triple H. His position in the company was threatened by The Rock. He has been ordered around by The Rock, and he's laid low during all of this. If they need someone like a heavy to come out and deal with The Rock, I wouldn't be surprised if possibly at some point that music hits and Motorhead starts playing and that guy comes out and starts taking on The Rock outside the ring somewhere. So,
As much as I'm not a huge fan of Triple H, I do like that story. I didn't even think of that story. I thought of the obvious, Stone Cold, Cena. It's in Philadelphia, so Blue Meanie. No, I'm just kidding. Blue Meanie. Maybe Nova. Shout out to Mike Bucci. Yeah, I don't know. I like the Triple H angle though, and maybe Dustin Runnels. Somebody's got to come in, as you said.
I don't think Dustin Runnels will be enough. Like, I mean, like you need, because that also sets up the future going forward here too.
That's
because
true.
The Rock is now basically becoming the new Vince McMahon at this point for WWE. Okay, he's the final boss. Meanwhile, though, Triple H is the guy who's been backstage running all this stuff and everything. So there's a lot to play with those two, and Triple H can't work a match.
That's the only problem
because of his heart and everything now. But he doesn't have to though either. He can come out to the ring and like he and Rock can put on a show without Triple H keeling over or anything like that. And they can have a rivalry without having to have, to physically come to blows with each other too. At one point you had Vince McMahon and Ric Flair, co-owners of the company, and that rivalry going with them, and rivalries between GMs over the years, like Eric Bischoff and Teddy Long and stuff like that. They never had to fight each other, so there's potential for post WrestleMania, and that's part of what you got to look in these predictions here is, the next step. Where do they go from here? Because right now, The Rock is on fire. I haven't seen The Rock look this great. I mean, as just his character, not his physical state. But I mean, like this might be the best he's ever been, as a heel. So, I think there's a lot to play with him still to go, and it's the only reason that I would think that maybe they would give Reigns the win, so that they kind of caught lightning in a bottle at like the last second though, like they're just about to finish it, and suddenly now it's interesting. Now we're into it now, But the last 2.5 years of this, title run, we've just been like, just make it stop, And now when it seems like it's finally, they're finally, bringing her in for a landing and they're going to put this thing to bed. Now all of a sudden it's cool and it's a fun story. So, but I also think that momentum can only go so long, and it's better to go out, while it's hot,
Well, like you said, if it goes your way, they could still keep that momentum and just shift it in a different direction. I really like your idea. At least that way, Cody still gets his moment, because Cody's got it. If Cody doesn't get his moment now, it's done. You can't. Nobody's going to. People are already turning against him. Nobody's going to care if this thing goes to the next pay, and you're not going to have him win it at a lesser pay-per-view.
No, it has to be WrestleMania. It has to be WrestleMania. No one will settle for it. It won't be the same if it's at SummerSlam or something like that. So,
well, there you have it, man. We only disagreed on 2. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes, man. You
No,
know,
I will put up the scores. I think
I
you
think
are
you're ahead.
by a
Aren't you
lot.
ahead?
What do you have?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you were ahead by like one or two matches or something like
Oh,
that.
I had you at 3-5, and me and 7-1.
Okay. So we'll
So
see what.
I'm you can't catch me this year, this event, but you could chop away.
Yeah. Well, I'll chop away. All right.
Being that you're the champ for the last 2 of the last 3 years. So
Yeah.
kudos to you.
And
Well, I got nothing else, man. I'm tired. That was exhausting.
which night or both are you coming over to watch the pay-per-view at my
As
place?
we've discussed in the past, I will be in Philadelphia, although I will not be at WrestleMania. I'm going to
Yeah.
Global Travelers. I'm going to Global Traveler office to help prepare for the huge wine survey event that they have every year.
And
So
somehow this is more important than the greatest spectacle in sports entertainment
it's not
history.
more important, but it's more profitable for John.
I see.
If I want to,
So
if I like food and
so
everything.
you're a sellout. You're a sellout.
Yeah.
You can be bought.
Oh, I can absolutely.
Yeah.
For
I'm
those
sure it
out there,
doesn't.
yeah, it's not going to take much to.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, there it is, WrestleMania XL. I hope everybody out there enjoys the show. It sounds, for the most part, a couple throwaway matches aside, the good ones are good ones, I'd say, So I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to WrestleMania this year. So
See, I would say just drop one match from each night, make it a little bit shorter, and I think you got a great 2 nights of cards. That's what
yeah,
I would do. Anyway, enjoy the show. Let us know how you guys picked. Hopefully, you'll probably beat Tommy. You probably won't beat me, and we'll see you at the next Premium Live event. This has been Pinfalls. Thank you for joining me. Who else but Tommy?
Tommy Ells.
Enjoy.